Hey y'all, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Adrienne. For today's yoga snack, I want to break down the pose baby grasshopper. And this may or may not be a pose that you're familiar with, but I want to break it down in a way that makes it feel more accessible. It's an arm balancing pose, and I feel like it can be one of those poses that we see as kind of a social media pose where it's a good party trick kind of pose, if you will. Break it down in a way that makes it feel more available to your own practice, whether you want to try it and incorporate it into your own teaching or whether it's something that you do at your home practice, but just something that you can start to work towards. The reason also that I want to look at this is because I want to showcase how some of these poses that from a snapshot can look more challenging or less available and can really be more accessible if we understand the mechanics that are behind them. If you want to practice this, go ahead, set up your space, and we'll get going. To actually practice baby grasshopper, you want to think about warming up the upper body. It is an arm balancing pose, so I would do some things that can help create awareness, mainly even just in how the shoulder socket works. You want to make sure that you're not just hinging into the joints, but there's that activation around the lats, maybe the rhomboids, obviously biceps, triceps. So doing some things that can create a little bit more awareness there and turn those muscles on a bit more. Core work is part of this as well. So maybe some upper and lower abdominal work that you can do. And then opening the hips, there's some extension through the legs, as well as a little bit of rotation, so maybe some thoracic mobility. So those are just ways that you can think about if you are sequencing it for your own practice or to teach, that you can incorporate some of those as a way to build up to this if you were doing it as like a peak pose per se. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. So to actually practice this, I'm going to show it to you on the left side so that I can face the screen. So you'll extend the left leg out. It's in a neutral position, so I've got ankle, knee, hip in one line, and then I take the right foot over, letting it stay at about a 45-degree angle, and that's important. I then plant that left hand down, making sure shoulder, elbow, and ankle, shoulder, elbow and wrist, goodness gracious, are all in one line. And then you want to think about kind of using this inertia momentum. I had a teacher say it's like you're jumping in or diving into a pool, and that's really helpful. You take that outside grab, so foot towards the pinky edge of the foot, and then using that inertia kind of jumping sensation, you're going to press up and then hinge here. So it's almost like you're going to kiss the floor, but you don't. Pressing that left heel away, there's activation in that left bicep, tricep, the core is engaged, and then I can slowly come back down, and then just taking that to the other side. Hopefully that makes it seem a little bit more accessible in terms of understanding the mechanics behind it. I didn't break it down a ton in terms of if you were actually sequencing it to get to that point, to practice your baby grasshopper, but understanding some of the activation that has to turn on might help at least a little bit, be a diving point or a jump start into this pose and trying it out and allowing that to maybe open up the door so that you can explore other shapes and postures that might seem a little bit more intimidating if you're not used to practicing those kind of postures in your practice, but as a way to recognize, okay, if I start to work towards even just arm balance awareness and how that works structurally, and then a little bit more core, and then maybe some mobility in the lower body, how does that play into some of these other poses that are actually more simple based on all of that awareness and like this step-by-step process. I hope that makes sense. As always, reach out if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.